There are some things you can't change. It takes time to get good at playing gigs. But the least you can do is give yourself the best possible chance of having a good gig. So let's go over what you can do in order to prepare. Rehearsal. I mean, look, you need to be well rehearsed. There's no way around it. Mistakes on stage will happen sometimes. It's just life. But if you know your material, you can continue through any mistakes without too much worry. Here's what the pros do. When something goes wrong, always finish the song. Break a guitar string? Finish the song without it. Miss a beat and come in at the wrong time? Keep playing and adjust. Look to your band members for the next cue. Making a mistake once is just a mistake. Make it twice and it's even more obvious. Make it 3 times and it's meant to be played that way. Because here's the thing, your audience probably won't even notice you've made a mistake unless you stop playing mid-song. The average person will just keep nodding along. They're listening to the overall sound, not analysing your part. And by the way, never apologise if you mess up. There's nothing more cringeworthy than listening to a musician apologise to a room full of people for missing a chord. No one cares, and we didn't even know you'd messed up until you'd told us. Setlist. This might sound pretentious, but try to rehearse what you say between songs, or don't say anything at all. You don't want to be stuck on stage wondering what to say between songs. I don't mean you should write a script to recite word for word, but unless you are naturally charismatic, either decide what you want to say before the show, or let your music do the talking. If you do prepare something to say between songs, write a little note as a cue beside each song on the setlist. When you write a setlist, you'll always know what's coming next and how to transition into it. Leave no doubt that you're meant to be on that stage by having a setlist written up and knowing your songs like the back of your hand. Gear. Your gear should be maintained and in the best working order it can be. Instrument failure is easily the number one reason musicians have problems at gigs. Whatever instruments and gear you need should have been serviced and tested before the show. Your voice should be warmed up, you should have more than 2 drumsticks, your instrument leads shouldn't crackle. You might break a guitar string, so you should have spare strings and be really fast at changing them, or have a spare guitar. Consider everything that could potentially fail and take steps to minimize the risk. At some point your gear is going to fail you. It's okay, everyone will understand. Just continue the best you can, even if you have to borrow someone else's keyboard and worry about it later. Show up on time. Punctuality is important for many reasons, but in this instance, it's another way to give yourself the best chance of a great gig. Being at the venue on time tells other people that not only are you prepared, but you're considerate of their time. Now, the engineer doesn't have to wait for you, the other acts don't have to wait for you, and the audience won't have to wait for you. You might spend more time waiting around than you would like, but it's not your fault if the gig runs late, and you've got plenty of chance to get yourself ready before the music starts. Clothing. What you wear on stage, assuming you wear anything at all, is up to you. The most important thing for now is that your clothing is comfortable and appropriate. You don't want to be on stage thinking about how constricting or itchy or annoying your clothes are when you're trying to put on a great performance. That giant wasp mask looks amazing, but can you sing in it? Will your coat be too hot after 10 seconds under stage lights? Can you drum freely in tight jeans? Your audience want to be impressed, but I guarantee your incredible, concentrated performance will do a better job at that than your bondage costume. Talk to people. Put on a friendly face, introduce yourself, and make conversation with the sound engineer, the promoter, the bar staff, and the other acts. Talk to the people that come to see you play. Talk to the people on the door. The more people in the room you are familiar with, the more people there are to give you a smile and pay attention while you're on stage. It's a great way to give yourself a confidence boost and make yourself feel comfortable on the night. It's also a great way to make friends and connections in your music scene, as you'll probably be dealing with these people again sometime. Find some space. Preparing yourself mentally is important as well. Find a space to get into gig mode. This could be somewhere quiet outside the venue to yourself, or it could be at the bar with your bandmates. The point is to get yourself hyped up and ready to perform in front of people. Most people use this time to double as a warm-up. Vocalists will warm up their voice while focusing on bringing their A game to the stage. I like to find a quiet spot to myself where I can warm up with my drumsticks, do some exercises to warm up my body, sing a little to warm up my voice, just get into the zone. After I've prepped myself, I like to find whoever I'm performing with and connect with them before we go on stage together. Use those nerves and turn them into excitement. Drugs and alcohol. This is very important. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I can only speak from my own experience. People always play better when they're sober. You might become a better performer after a few drinks, but your playing will suffer. Sure, you might argue that some of the greatest musicians of all time were epic drug users, but you're not one of the greats yet, are you? If you're keen on experimenting with this, get drunk sometime and record a rehearsal, then listen back to it when you're sober and hear how messy your playing will be. That's how your audience will hear your music at a gig. You might have had a great time, but get drunk at a gig and your audience will notice how sloppy you are. Go to the Musicians Map website to download a checklist of all the points we've talked about in this video. Tick them all off before your next gig and let me know how it goes. Thank you for watching. Please let me know what you'd like the next video to be about in the comments, hit subscribe and head to the Musicians Map Facebook group to discuss your musical journey. Also, head to musiciansmap.org to check out my ebook and audiobook on growing success in music, as well as a ton more free content and information.